What's going on, guys? It's Unknown Player here, and today I'm bringing you guys some absolutely huge news for Destiny DLC and the future of what we might be seeing. And this is in the form of a leaked image that has appeared on the internet. I'll link in the description the original sources and a lot of posts detailing some of the information we've got right here. Before I show the image, I do want to say that this image could possibly be fake. There is definitely a possibility, and I won't rule out this image could possibly be fake, and that does mean that everything I'm about to say is pretty much invalidated, but I'm very confident that this image is actually real, and supposedly it was taken from a Bungie meeting. So you can see the image right here, and what it does is basically outline all of the future DLC for Destiny. So there is a ton of information in this, and it's absolutely huge. There's so much information we gather from this about the future of Destiny content. So firstly, we actually get a date for the House of Wolves DLC, which is the expansion number 2, and that is the 10th of March 2015, which is very good, and that's around roughly when we should expect it, which is early 2015. And then what comes after that is something called Comet. You can see the original box art that we can see as the same as the original game, which launched back in September 9th, which you can see up there in 2014. Now, Comet is something very interesting. You might have heard the name Comet before. If you're massive into Destiny, you probably would have come across it. It's essentially this project that we did have a kind of tease to us that would contain a lot of DLC, and nobody knew what it would contain. Nobody knew whether it would be renamed as Expansion 1 and 2, and whether Expansion 1 and 2 was just another kind of form of Comet. But it turns out Comet is actually its own DLC, and what it essentially is, from my understanding, is that it's going to be a re-release of Destiny. The full game is going to be a re-release and a full disc version on September 2015, so exactly a year from the original one's launch, except it's going to contain a huge amount of DLC, a massive amount of DLC in itself, in addition to also having the expansion number 1, the Dark Below, and expansion number 2, House of Wolves, on it. So it's basically going to be a collection of DLC 1, 2, plus a way bigger DLC in itself that's bigger than all the normal expansions on the disc. So it's basically going to be a Destiny kind of 1.5, as you could describe it, and we have kind of heard rumors that this is what's going to happen in between Destiny games. So we'll have Destiny launching in 2014, 2015 September we get Comet, which is basically like a Destiny 1.5, and then 2016 we'll get Destiny 2, 2017 we'll get Destiny 2.5 with another Comet. So that's essentially how it's been rumored to work, and it does look very much like this could be how it's shaping up. And then after Comet we get episode 3, or expansion number 3, which involves the Vex. I can't really make out what it says after Vex, but it definitely is a Vex Goblin's face as the actual cover art, and this is of course going to be a Vex themed expansion pack, and it's going to contain all the same things that we have in the previous expansions, but of course Vex theme. Then episode 4, we can make out it does say Forge of the Gods. Now this is of course expansion number 4, and to me it looks like it does appear to have a Cabal's face in it, so maybe it could be a Cabal themed DLC, which would be very cool to have a Cabal raid and a bunch of new Cabal missions. We can learn more about them, and you can't really tell exactly what it's Cabal face. It does look a little bit different, and it's from the side on, so you can't really make out all too much, but there's even more interesting stuff in the actual information that's below this. There's kind of like a grid with information, and what it does is it details all the planets and what kind of takes place in all of these packs on the planets. You can see some interesting things. You can see Cosmodrome, Mars, Venus, and you can also see kind of some extra places right there. You can see for expansion number 1, the Dark Below, which we just got, we can actually line it up and see that all the information is correct. It says 1 on the Cosmodrome, which is correct. We did get the 1 mission on the Cosmodrome, and then it says +3 on the Moon, which is also correct. We get the raid, and we also get 2 more missions on the Moon, and it also says 1 on Mars, which is also correct because we do get that strike in the Black Garden on the Moon. So all of this is correct information, and it does seem to line up. And then for episode 2, you can see +1 on the Cosmodrome, +2 on the Moon, +2 on Venus, and also says on the Reef, which is of course where the raid will take place. Now Comet appears to show all the same information, but it does show even more things, and it says Hive ship with the Hive logo you might recognize, and this appears to be another playable area. Now in the next category we can see activities, and this basically details what we can see, such as missions, events, areas, and raids and stuff like that. What is in all these packs? Now for most of them they're all pretty what you'd expect, but for the Comet you can see there is a huge amount of new things. You can see new PvP maps at the bottom. There's +6 new missions. There's +12 I believe, or possibly it says 16 or 18. Can't really make out the second figure, but it definitely is in double digits, which is very interesting that we're going to be that many new missions within the Comet. So there's going to be a ton of new story added to Destiny. There's also appears to be 4 new strikes, and then there's 1 of the events, patrols, and 1 new raid. Now this raid is speculated to take place on the Hive ship. There's a lot of people around the internet speculating that Hive ship is a new playable area that you'll be able to patrol in, and also contains a new raid. Also some things that have been very interesting to be said about this Comet DLC is that it will contain 3 new subclasses, and this will be for each of the 3 characters. Of course, the Titan will have a flame one, the Warlock will have a arc one, and the Hunter will have a void one. So 3 new subclasses to rank up and play as, and they've also been rumoured that be 2 new weapon classes, just like we have auto rifles and pulse rifles, snipers, shotgun, fusion rifles. There'll be 2 more of those. There'll also be a new base level. I'm not sure what is meant by that, and there'll also be a new location called the Hive Ship, which I've just said the raid could take place. This has been a ton of information for the expansions for DLC. I believe most of this information is legitimate. It does seem like it will be that way, and a lot of it does seem to match up with what you already got and what Bungie have said their plans will be for future DLCs. If you're excited for this stuff, drop the video a like rating and let me know in the comment section what you're thinking about this. Maybe it's something I've missed out that sticks out to you. Leave it in the comment section. I'll be interested to read those comments, and so you definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest Destiny news. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.